Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, we're going to talk about sucking the fun out of everything you enjoy, because that's what Blizzard's doing to Diablo. Diablo 4, that is. So, Blizzard has once again pulled out their Nerf gun and started shooting the shit out of everything. So, they've nerfed classes, they've nerfed just about everything, and now they set their sights on dungeons. So there was a couple of dungeons that were great for XP and loot farming, and Blizzard decided to say, you know what? You're having too much fun. It's time to reel that in, and they nerfed those dungeons. So they are bound and determined to make you play the game the way they want and longer. So that's what they're bound and determined to do. Instead of letting people play the game to where it's fun, or let's add a new concept boosting the dungeons that are not fun. They decided we're just going to nerf the dungeons that are fun. So there were a few of the dungeons in the game that spawned more elite enemies than others, which meant that you could skill up faster and you could get loot quicker. Because heaven forbid, that's what an ARPG is all about, right? Is the eternal grind to get better gear, level up, get enough skill points to get that next Paragon point, all this stuff. So heaven forbid if players want to do that and skill up and run through the content quicker. Instead, they just basically said, let's not fix the dungeons that are crappy. Let's lower this dungeon down to crappy. So they live and die by the weakest link. That's exactly what Blizzard is doing. And they're sucking the fun out of this game. Part of me understands nerfing classes because the whole PvP system, but don't get me started on that because I could care less about PvP and they could shove it out the window for all I care. All I care about is single player. And in that point, I don't care if Rogue or Sorceress does more damage or whatever. Everybody has their position in the game and they have their position in the group. It is what it is at that point. But forcing players to do the slow grind because who knows, whatever it is, I think it takes too long to hit levels in Diablo 4. I think they've slowed it down way too long to get to 100. It's probably about, I don't know, at the rate we're playing, or the rate other players play, it's probably 80 to 100 hours to get to there. And that's doing the stuff and getting to 100 Paragon. They should have buffed them, in my opinion. Buff the dungeons instead of lowering this one down to the other ones. But that's just my opinion. But to me, it seems like they're just sucking the fun out of the game. That's how it seems to me. Nick, what do you think, man? What do you think about all these nerfs and bringing down classes and bringing down dungeons instead of raising everything up?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I understand class, balancing and stuff like that. But yeah, for the world, I mean, you're exactly right with the leveling system in this game. It takes a long time. Once you hit 48, amazingly, you think it's 50, but no, once you hit 48, because me and Pat's been playing together, we have level 53, 54, something like that characters currently. Once we were going through the levels together, once we hit 48, I mean, and it didn't take long to get from 41 to 42, 43 to 44. Once you hit 48, it took forever to get to 49. And then once it got to 49, it seemed like it took forever to get to 50. And going from 50 to 51 and so on and so forth, I think we're 54, I want to say. 53, 54, somewhere around there. It took a long time. I mean, several nights of grinding just to get there. And like most, like all action RPGers such as myself and all of us here, not everybody does, but those people that do really like the grind. I like the grind. I love to grind in games. I have a limit though. I don't like to grind to the point where I'm barely making a scratch on my character because I'm grinding so much. So it's nice to have those. You're exactly right. They shouldn't nerf those dungeons. They should look at what makes the other dungeons not fun, right? I mean, people were using those dungeons as XP farms, but you could do more than just nerf them down to match up the other dungeons. You could have thought of other ways to kind of energize, like you said, The older dungeon, in the game, you get you can make dungeons into nightmare dungeons, right? Which give you better loot and higher XP and stuff like that. Like, take those bad dungeons, the dungeons people aren't playing, and I think Pat had mentioned this earlier when we were talking about it. Have the nightmare elixirs, because you have to have a certain elixir that drops for the dungeon to make it a nightmare dungeon. Have those drop more often for the less played dungeons, right? And then people will go to those. Like, if we were playing like the XP farm dungeons and we got more drops for those other ones, we'd be like, hey, let's go over to this other dungeon because we got a nightmare, elixir. Let's go there and do that one because we'll get more stuff and, whatever. You've got to balance. Besides balance, it seems like they're just trying to balance everything out to almost make it vanilla, right? Everything's vanilla. It started out in Neapolitan. Now all it's left is the vanilla, right? That's it. And now they've decided to fill the rest of the container with just nothing but vanilla. Everything is just straight across the board type thing. The fun of an action RPG is to find those different ways to kind of level your character up quickly and get the best loot areas, right? You always have those, like, not just even XP farms, but the loot farms. You find certain areas that drop better loot and things like that. And I understand Blizzard wanting to come in, especially if there's like a problem with that. But this game it has a PvP zone, but it's mostly a PvE game, right? It has a small section where you can do PvP, but it's mainly a PvE experience, playing with your friends and going through there. So I don't see, it almost seems like Blizzard wants to slow down everyone's ability to get to level cap.
Yeah, the progress.
Right. They wanted to slow that down, because I think about not just now, but when seasons start. I think about how long it's going to take to get from level 1 to 100 in a season to be able to get through the season, right? We get through the battle pass. We don't know how long, at least as far as I know, we don't know how long seasons will last. How long we have to get through a battle pass. I think in Destiny, it's a few months, right? Like 3-4 months, something like that, before the next season starts up. I can't remember. I mean, Diablo 3, how long was it between seasons? I honestly
I think
can't
there
remember.
is going to be they're going to be 3-month seasons.
3-month seasons.
But you're not going to reset your level, from what I understand. It's renown.
Oh,
it's going to reset.
Your renown resets?
Renown and stuff like that.
I thought they were doing the same as Diablo 3, where you start out with a new character and stuff.
Not from what I understand. It's just like a renown, but very little is known. It could be a reset level. Like you'd start a season journey character.
Yeah.
They maybe do something like that. I don't know. That's how they did 3, right? You just started a season.
But it was faster to level up in 3. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, you could power level yourself to like Nightmare Torment 10 in like less than a day,
Right. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they're doing here. I mean, the game is still new, but and they'll get their balancing and fixes kind of worked out eventually. But right now, it seems like they're on in the whole nerf game at the moment, just nerfing everything. When really, I think, I've seen several things in the game, not just dungeons, that need to be buffed, right? And I'm sure a lot of people have as well. I've seen a lot of things playing through, and I'm sure Pat has as well, that need buffing. And they just don't seem to be in the mood to buff anything at the moment. So, what about you, Shane? What do you think?
I need a good buffing. Yeah, I don't like it. To me, they're trying to stretch out the game for people. One thing that kills a game is burnout, or completion, I should say. And then you have a big lull before the DLC or the season or whatever comes out next. I mean, Destiny is a great example. You finish that season, you finish that new DLC, and then you wait a year. And a lot of people don't come back. I mean, how long did we come back to Destiny?
You have never played a season in Destiny to save your life. And they're the 3 months. Every 3 months is a new season.
Well, sorry. I'm talking about content DLC. I just think they're going to milk it out.
Something like that. They add armor content. That's cosmetics mostly.
Yeah. But for me, that's not something I want to play for. I mean, a new helmet looks like a penis. Big deal. I don't care. It's just a way to stretch the game.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I played a lot of Diablo 3 seasons because the season adds focus on builds. It's like, hey, run this build and you get special unique items that come along with that. I ran a lot of Diablo 3 seasons.
And that might just be because that's what you and even Nick are more geared into. You enjoy just, getting a new suit of armor or something. I would rather have, goals.
I think you just
story
said
goals.
I think you just said exactly what an ARPG is. That's all it ever is. It's the gear grind. Yeah. That's what those games are.
But that's the thing. I don't care for that. I mean, I like Diablo. I like to just play with you guys. I like to, get my butt handed to me. Diablo's fun. I don't need to play 200 hours for a new glove. I mean, and I think that's all this is. It's just a big stretch to make exactly. I don't need it, but Nick apparently needs a new glove. Where he's putting it, I don't know, but it seems like a big stretch. I mean, they're trying to make it last longer, and it's because they don't have. I don't think they have as much for this one ready as as they say they do. I really don't.
Next season's supposed to start mid-July, so they're already know.
I bet it's delayed.
It's not. It's mid-July.
I bet it gets delayed.
I bet it don't.
I mean, we got a month.
I don't think it'll get delayed.
I don't think it
will.
I
bet
either.
It does.
But I agree with you though that they are trying to stretch the grind out, right?
Yes. I think we agree because they're starting to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I don't know. It's I agree. That's what they're doing. That's what a live service game does, right? They got to make you stick with it for as long as possible. Nobody, I hope, and I'm probably wrong on this. I hope nobody's buying their cosmetic items because they're way overpriced. But that's just me. But
I haven't even looked at them because of how
I looked
bad
at a full set of armor.
Be.
I looked at a full set of armor for the Necromancer, which is what I'm playing. It looked really cool, and it was $25. And I'm like, you could take $25 and stick it where the sun don't shine, because I'm not giving you 1/3 of the cost of a new game.
But people are buying it.
I know they are. I can hope and dream, can't I?
You put too much faith in humanity. That's your problem.
Yeah. I mean, because here we are. We're bitching about a company that is the master of the slow burn game, slow burning Diablo. That's how much hopes and dreams are. Right? Yeah. I mean, the master of taking your money, Blizzard, because they've done it for years with WoW and all that stuff. Yep. And we're talking about it like we're surprised. I mean, we are a little bit surprised, but at the same time, we're PO'd because they're sucking the fun out of a game, right? If they would just buff the leveling system so you can level quicker, then cool. That's what because I think leveling is extremely slow in this game. Yep. And because really you only have four world tiers to go through right now. We can't even get to world tier 3 yet because we can't get out of world 3 tier into 4 because we're hampered by the capstone dungeon because we're not high enough level and barely getting a level or 2 a night. I mean, if we're lucky, getting 2 levels a night playing 3 or 4 hours. So, at this point, it's all about sucking down the elixirs that give you a 30-minute 5% XP buff,
I drank 27 of them.
I didn't level up
Red Bull.
My character's always hype.
He's always hyped up on that Red Bull. But yeah, I mean, but Blizzard is the master of extenuating your stay in their games because they want that microtransaction money, or like you said, they want to hold you for the season pass. But like a lot of us, I will admit, I bought the $90 copy so I can get the season pass. That I didn't buy the season boost, which that was like the $100 one, right? Yeah, I got the one with the season pass so that I could play. It didn't have to pay for the season pass when it came out, So, but if they don't, and people, as Shane mentioned, people forget about your game when the season comes out, you're likely not getting season 2 out of them, or season 3 or 4 or 5. But I played a lot of Diablo 3 and I haven't played in probably over a year, but they didn't charge for seasons that I'm aware of. The seasons were free. There wasn't the second tier of, there wasn't like a tier 1 and tier gear. It was just like complete these objectives and you get the helmet, you get the gloves, you get this and this that are built for the build of the season of your class, right? And that's what they were banking on. Now there's going to be the whole Destiny style seasons where you get the battle pass and then you get the non-battle pass tier. If you buy the battle pass, you get the top and bottom tiers. And if you only do the free one, you only get the top tier, the top of the line, not the bottom of the line, or vice versa.
They say that they say that these seasons are going to be much bigger than what was in Diablo 3. That's what they say. I mean, we haven't gotten our first season yet, so we don't know, but they're supposed to be more involved in these seasons than what Diablo 3 had.
Diablo 3 was very involved, though. I mean, you had to complete dungeons by yourself and solo torment level, whatever.
I'm suspecting that they're going to do something more on the lines of, like Destiny, where there's actually like somewhat story content, like a scenario going on, and then you're doing dungeons and maybe even new dungeons, right, that come in through the seasons and stuff like that. Kind of like Destiny does in that sense, where you have this kind of like, through the season, it's kind of this story, process type of thing that you're going through.
So season 1, you're going to go find Lilith's sister, Becky.
Who knows? Maybe. We don't know what's in, but like Destiny does exactly that, as Nick had mentioned, because they're now in like the season of, I don't remember, whatever, but it looks all underwatery type crap. I can't remember, the Deep or something like that. Season of the Deep in Destiny. So they probably are doing something like that way, because I think that Diablo 3's seasons were very in depth, because you had to do, if you wanted those wings that were the cosmetic item, you had to do a lot of crap. I mean, they were pretty in depth. And if you want the whole set of the green armor for the season, then you needed to complete all these season objectives. And you weren't doing it in a week or a day. You were doing it in weeks, if not longer, And then once you finished, you got like bonus Paragon points for your other classes and stuff like that. So things like that carried over. I'm not sure they're going to be doing that to this one, because, man, I had a lot of characters in Diablo 3 at the end of the seasons, because then it just transferred from a season character to a regular character. And then you take a bump of Paragon points with you. So,
see, that's just, I like to play these games, but I've got other games I want to play. I can't put 2 million hours in the grind for a new pair of panties for my character. It's just too much, but that is a me thing. I mean, Nick's over there, tearing up every cat in the town just to get a new, skull cap, whatever barbarian you think you're playing. So I don't know, but it just makes me mad when they do things like this without thinking it through. You'd think they would, maybe.
Oh, they thought it through.
Talk to the gamers, a little bit. I mean, because like I said, it's not about the game; it's about the profit of it. I mean, they're not gonna do anything for the gamer for free if they know they can make $1 or $5 off of you. So.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like. It's going to probably be just like Destiny. It's going to have weapons and armor skins and emotes and who knows, and new tattoos and hairdos and all kinds of crap. It's going to be what it is. But I don't mind that stuff. I really don't. I don't mind that at all. I want to play the game the way I want to play it. And if I'd rather run dungeons to get my XP, then don't hinder my ability to make level, If I want to run the world events, the what are they called? The fire riptides or whatever they're called. I can't remember what they call them. Helltides. There you go. To get them, cool. If I want to bust out every side quest I could ever find in the game and get a couple more levels that way, because this game is chock full of them, then that's what it should be. But it seems like they are really hardcore trying to direct the flow of traffic in this game.
And I think the reason for that, Pat, is because of the seasons. And I think the way that they're going to do seasons now, they don't want people to be able to steamroll through XP, right? Because XP is probably going to also tie in with your progress along the battle pass, right? And so therefore they want to level that out so everyone's progressing through the battle pass at the same speed, regardless of how much they play, right? I mean, people that play more are going to progress through it faster, but everybody's getting the same vanilla, right? Flat leveled design so that everyone goes through the season. That way people don't grind through the season within like no time at all. And then they're like, well, now what do I do? Right. Because if they're every 3 months, they want that 3 months to last. So where you finish the season close to the end of that 3 months and are ready for a new one.
Yeah, they don't want you to blow the season out in a month or a week or something, because then you're liable not to come back for the next season, right? They got to keep you engaged right to the next season and so on and so forth. But I'm an avid player of Destiny, and Nick plays too quite a bit with me. But I don't play for a whole season. I play for a month at a time, and that's enough for me to collect the entire season pass, battle pass from that game. So I can usually complete it in a month, and then I'm off doing something else. And there are times where I don't play seasons. I mean, I've not played the new season at all, and I probably won't play the new season in Destiny because it didn't look interesting to me. The information is not really. I don't like what they're doing with the Traveler story and the Watcher and all that. So it's not that interesting to me. We'll have to see what Diablo does, because I've not heard anything about what it's going to be about or how they're going to do anything. All I know is that Renown supposedly resets every season. So we'll get a Renown reset when this one comes out. We'll have to rework a Renown back up. And that's probably how you're going to build your season pass journey, right? You got to build up that Renown to get from tier 1 to tier 90 in the season pass or whatever it is. So I'm interested to see what it is. I mean, I already paid for season 1, right? Because I bought the $10 more version than what standard price was. So I get I got to play early, and I get the season pass. I did not buy the accelerated. Only time I ever buy accelerated season passes in Destiny was when I came in really late, like the last month or something of the season. I'm like, oh, I better get in there so I can get all this stuff if I really want something at the end. If I don't care what's at the end, I just do the standard one. But, it'll be good to see their first battle pass and what comes in it, because we don't know a whole lot about what's in it so far. We don't know. At least I've not been able to read anything about what it's supposed to be about. All I know is that if you want to participate, make sure you finish that campaign quest, because that's one of the things to basically work through this one. You're gonna have to complete that. I would like to be level 100 by the time the battle pass season pass comes out, but I don't know if I'll make that. That's 47, 46 more levels we got to make it through, and they're really going like 1 or 2 a night. On a night we get to put 2 or 3 hours in, and we're coming into some time we're not gonna have a whole lot of time to play. We're coming up with some good games coming out and stuff like that we're playing through. So you guys got anything else you want to put out there before we squirm away from some Diablo for some other games?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, make sure you get out there, guys. If you want to play the play the season when it comes out for Diablo 4, get out there and show Lilith what for before the season comes out. I mean, it's probably not going to take you 90 days to complete the season, but you probably don't want to take a month to try to beat the season. Give yourself a little buffer if you're trying to get there. But I think for the most part, most people are just now getting into the 50s and so forth. There's some people out there that have multiple level 100 characters and stuff like that, but they've played hours on end and whatever. But I think the majority of people are just now getting into the renown, or not the renown, but the Paragon grind. So, all right. Well, you made it to the end. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. Protect us from Lilith. You got to subscribe to protect us from Lilith. So, all right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.